Rain poured like a broken dam over the city, turning streets into rivers of silver under the streetlights. A man in faded jeans and a worn jacket stepped out of a plain black car, his shoulders hunched against the cold. That man was Elon Musk, the genius behind rockets and electric cars. But tonight, he looked like just another tired traveler. The Grand Star Hotel loomed ahead, its glass walls glowing like a beacon in the storm. What happened inside those fancy doors would shock the world. The hotel's lobby sparkled like a dream. Golden lights danced on marble floors so shiny they mirrored every step. Crystal chandeliers hung like stars frozen in time, and the air smelled of fresh roses in tall vases. Guests in sharp suits and elegant dresses glided through, their laughter soft against the hum of quiet music. Behind the polished front desk stood Marcus Reed, the manager, in a suit so perfect it looked painted on. His sharp eyes scanned every guest, judging who belonged in this palace of luxury. Elon pushed open the heavy glass doors, water dripping from his jacket onto the flawless floor. His face was tired, lines carved deep from endless days of work. He'd spent 18 hours in meetings, dreaming of a warm bed and a moment of peace. His sneakers squeaked as he walked, leaving faint wet marks. In his heart, he carried a quiet hope. Maybe tonight, he could just be a person, not a famous name. But Marcus Reed saw something else, a man who didn't fit the Grand Star's image. "Excuse me, sir," Marcus said, his voice cold as the rain outside. "This hotel has a strict dress code." His eyes flicked over Elon's wrinkled clothes, his lips curling like he'd smelled something bad. "You might try the motel on Pine Street. It's more your style." Elon stood still, water pooling at his feet. His tired eyes met Marcus's, searching for a hint of kindness. He found none. "I just need a room for the night," he said softly, his voice steady but heavy with exhaustion. He wasn't angry, not yet. He was too tired for that. But deep inside, a memory stirred. A memory of another time, another place, when someone had looked at him the same way Marcus did now. Nearby, a young concierge named Lily Carter watched it all. Her heart sank as she recognized Elon from news articles about space and cars. She wanted to speak up, to tell Marcus he was making a huge mistake, but her throat felt tight. She was new, barely a month into the job, and she needed it to pay for her little brother's school supplies. Her hands twisted together behind the desk, her thoughts racing. Why is Marcus being so mean? Doesn't he know who this is? Elon gave a small nod, like he was used to this. "Thank you for your time," he said, his voice calm but heavy with something unspoken. He turned toward the doors, pausing to glance at a small sign taped to the window. "Help wanted, night staff. Inquire within." His eyes lingered on it, and for a moment Lily thought she saw a flicker of something. Sadness, maybe, or a memory from long ago. Then he stepped back into the rain, his figure fading into the stormy night. Lily's chest ached as she watched him go. Why did he look at that sign so long? She wondered. Outside, the rain kept falling, hiding Elon's car as it drove away. But something told Lily this wasn't the end of the story. What was it about that sign that stopped him in his tracks? And why would a man like Elon Musk, turned away so coldly, come back to change everything? The rain had stopped by morning, but the Grand Star Hotel felt heavier, like the storm had left a shadow behind. Lily Carter arrived at work with a knot in her stomach, replaying last night's scene in her mind. Elon Musk, turned away like he was nobody, his eyes lingering on that help wanted sign. She couldn't shake the feeling that something big was coming, something she wasn't ready for. The lobby gleamed as always, its marble floors reflecting the golden chandeliers, but the air felt tense, like a string pulled too tight. Lily sorted papers at the front desk, her hands shaky. She kept glancing at the window where the sign still hung, its edges curling in the morning light. Why did he stare at it like that, she thought. Her little brother, Ben, needed new books for school, and her paycheck barely covered rent. She couldn't risk losing this job, but the memory of Marcus's cold words to Elon burned in her chest. She wanted to do something, say something, but fear glued her feet to the floor. Then the phone rang, sharp and loud. Lily jumped, nearly dropping her pen. "Grand Star Hotel, how can I help you?" she said, her voice wobbling. "Delivery for the kitchen," a gruff voice replied. "We're outside. You'll want to see this." Lily frowned, confused. The hotel hadn't ordered anything. She hurried to the back entrance where 2 delivery trucks sat, their engines humming like impatient beasts. Workers in gray uniforms were unloading shiny new stoves, gleaming refrigerators, and boxes labeled "Fragile, Premium Ingredients." The sight made Lily's heart race. This wasn't just a delivery, it was a transformation. "Who sent all this?" she asked a worker, her voice barely above a whisper. He checked his clipboard. "Golden Star. Solutions. Paid in full. No contact name." Lily's mind spun. Golden Star Solutions? She'd never heard of them. She ran to find Mrs. Elena Torres, the head chef, who was staring at the new equipment like it was a gift from the heavens. Elena's hands trembled as she touched a sleek oven, her eyes shining with tears. "Lily, we've needed this for years. The old stoves broke down every week. Who did this?" I don't know," Lily stammered. But her thoughts flashed to Elon, to that strange look in his eyes last night. Could it be him? And if it was, why help a place that treated him so badly? Before she could say more, Marcus stormed into the kitchen, his perfect suit slightly wrinkled. "What's going on here?" he demanded, his voice sharp like a knife. "We didn't order this! Send it back!" The delivery worker shook his head. "Can't. It's paid for, and the sender insisted it stays. There's more coming tomorrow." Marcus's face turned red, his jaw tight. "This is my hotel. I decide what happens here." But his eyes flickered with something new, uncertainty. Lily watched him, her heart pounding. Marcus was always in control, but now he looked lost, like a captain on a sinking ship. Back at the front desk, Lily's thoughts were a storm of their own. Golden Star Solutions. New equipment. Elon Musk. It all felt connected, but how? She slipped into the office when Marcus wasn't looking and opened his computer. Her fingers shook as she typed Golden Star Solutions into the search bar. Nothing. Not a single result. It was like the company didn't exist. Her chest tightened. Who's doing this? And why? At noon, another truck arrived. This time, it carried medical supplies for Mr. Henry, the hotel's elderly doorman. His hands shook with arthritis, and he could barely open the heavy glass doors anymore. A nurse from the local clinic followed, holding a letter. "Mr. Henry's treatments are paid for," she said, smiling. 6 months of therapy, all covered by Golden Star Solutions. Henry's eyes filled with tears. "Why me?" he whispered, his voice cracking. "I'm just an old man who opens doors." Lily's throat burned. She wanted to hug him, to tell him he deserved this, but her mind was racing. First the kitchen, now Henry's treatments. This wasn't random. Someone was watching the hotel, knowing exactly what it needed. But the more Lily thought about it, the heavier her fear grew. If this was Elon, what did he want? Revenge? Control? Or something else entirely? That afternoon, Marcus called Lily into his office. His face was pale, his hands gripping a stack of invoices. "Lily, you were here last night," he said, his voice low and tense. "That man in the wet clothes, did you know who he was?" Lily's heart stopped. She nodded slowly. It was Elon Musk. Marcus's eyes widened, his breath catching. Elon Musk, he repeated like the name was a curse. And now this. Golden Star Solutions. It's him, isn't it? He slammed the invoices down. What does he want from us? To ruin me? To take over the hotel? I don't know, Lily said, her voice trembling. But he didn't seem angry last night. He seemed sad. Marcus stared at her, his confident mask crumbling. Sad? Why would a billionaire care about us? What's his game? Lily didn't have an answer, but her fear was turning into something else. Curiosity, maybe even hope. She remembered Elon's tired eyes, the way he'd looked at that "Help Wanted" sign like it held a secret. What happened to you here? She thought. What's making you do this? As she left Marcus's office, the phone rang again. Another delivery was coming, this time for the whole neighborhood. Lily's hands shook as she answered, her mind racing, with a single burning question. What secret from Elon's past was driving him to change everything? And what would happen when the truth finally came out? The Grand Star Hotel buzzed with whispers, but to Lily Carter it felt like the walls were closing in. The morning sun streamed through the glass doors, painting the marble lobby in gold, but the warmth couldn't touch the cold weight in her chest. For 2 days, mysterious deliveries from Golden Star Solutions had poured in. New kitchen equipment, medical care for Mr. Henry, even school supplies for the kids across the street. Each gift felt like a puzzle piece, but Lily couldn't see the whole picture, and the more she tried to understand, the heavier her fear grew. What does Elon Musk want? She thought, her hands trembling as she sorted guest receipts. Marcus, the manager, was unraveling. His perfect suit hung loose like he'd forgotten how to stand tall. He paced the lobby, muttering about that man and his plan to ruin us. Lily watched him, her heart sinking. She'd always admired Marcus's confidence, even when it was cold. But now he looked like a man drowning in his own mistakes. Lily, he snapped, catching her staring. Stop daydreaming and check those invoices. I need to know what he's doing. Lily nodded, but her mind was elsewhere. She slipped away to the back office, where a stack of Golden Star Solutions papers waited. Her fingers brushed over the invoices. $20,000 for kitchen upgrades, $10,000 for Mr. Henry's therapy, $5,000 for books and computers at Lincoln School. The numbers blurred as tears stung her eyes. Why is this happening? She thought. Is he helping us, or playing with us? Her little brother Ben flashed in her mind, his worn backpack, his dream of being a scientist. She needed this job to keep him in school, but the mystery was tearing her apart. She sank into a chair, her head in her hands. The weight of it all, Marcus's anger, the hotel's transformation, her own silence that rainy night, pressed down like a stone. I should have spoken up when Marcus turned him away, she thought. I could have stopped this. Her breath came in short gasps, her chest tight. She felt small, powerless, like a kid lost in a storm. The office walls seemed to pulse with her heartbeat, and for a moment she wanted to run, quit the job, leave the hotel, escape the questions she couldn't answer. Then, a soft knock broke, the silence. Mrs. Elena Torres, the chef, stood in the doorway, her apron dusted with flour. Lily, you okay? She asked, her kind eyes searching Lily's face. Lily wiped her tears, trying to smile. I don't know, Mrs. Torres. All this, the deliveries, the money, it's too much. What if it's a trick? Elena sat beside her, her warm hand on Lily's shoulder. I've been cooking in that broken kitchen for 10 years, she said softly. Burned pans, leaky fridges. I prayed for a miracle, and now it's here. Whoever did this knows what we need. That's not a trick, it's a gift. Lily's throat burned. But why? Why us? After what Marcus did to him? Elena's eyes softened, like she knew more than she said. Sometimes people help because they've been hurt too. Maybe this isn't about revenge. Maybe it's about healing. Those words hit Lily like a spark in the dark. She sat up, her heart pounding with something new, not fear, but a flicker of hope. Healing. Could Elon be doing this for a reason bigger than anger? She thought of his tired eyes that rainy night, the way he'd looked at the help wanted sign, like it held a piece of his soul. What happened to you here? She wondered. The question felt alive now, pulling her forward instead of holding her back. She stood, her legs shaky but determined. I need to find out who Golden Star Solutions is, she said, her voice stronger. There's an address on the invoices, 47 Oak Street. I'm going there after work. Elena's smile was proud but worried. Be careful, Lily. Some answers. Change everything. That evening, Lily walked through the neighborhood, the air cool and sharp with the smell of wet grass. The glass building at 47 Oak Street towered against the twilight sky, its windows dark except for one glowing light on the 5th floor. Her heart raced as she checked the lobby directory. Suite 500, no name listed. Her breath caught. Golden Star Solutions doesn't exist. Or someone's hiding it. A security guard looked up from his desk. You lost, miss? He asked, his voice kind but curious. I'm looking for Golden Star Solutions, Lily said, her voice trembling. Suite 500. The guard frowned, scratching his chin. That's strange. That suite's been empty for years. Nobody's up there. Lily's stomach dropped, but before she could speak, a shadow moved outside. A figure stood under a street lamp, watching the building. The same figure she'd seen near the hotel last night. Her pulse thundered. Is that him? She stepped closer, to the glass. But the figure turned and vanished into the dark. Lily's hands clenched into fists, her hope and fear colliding. She was so close to the truth, but it felt like chasing a ghost. Who are you, Elon? And what secret are you hiding? That's worth all this? As she stared at the glowing window on the 5th floor, a chill ran through her. Something told her the answer was up there, and it would break her heart, or change her life forever. The night air clung to Lily Carter like a damp cloak as she stood outside the glass tower at 47 Oak Street. The single-lit window on the 5th floor glowed like a star in the dark, pulling her closer to the truth she'd been chasing. Her heart hammered so loud she thought it might crack her ribs. Golden Star Solutions, empty suite, Elon Musk. The pieces didn't fit, but they were screaming at her to keep going. She'd come too far to turn back now, even if fear twisted her stomach into knots. Lily pushed through the building's heavy doors, the lobby cold and silent except for the hum of fluorescent lights. The security guard looked up, his newspaper crinkling. Miss, it's late. Suite 500's empty. You sure you know what you're doing? I have to see it, Lily said, her voice shaking but firm. Her sneakers squeaked on the polished floor as she headed for the elevator. Her thoughts raced. Images of Elon's tired eyes, Marcus's panicked face, the help wanted sign that haunted her dreams. What's up there? The elevator doors closed with a soft ding, trapping her with her own reflection. She looked small, scared, but something burned inside her, a spark of courage she didn't know she had. The 5th floor was dark, the hallway lined with locked doors. Suite 500 was at the end, its frosted glass door glowing faintly from the light within. Lily's breath caught as she pressed her ear to the glass. A faint shuffle, like papers moving. Someone was inside. Her hand trembled as she knocked, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the quiet. The door opened, and there he was, Elon Musk, standing in a simple black sweater, his face calm but shadowed with something heavy. Lily, he said softly, like he'd been expecting her. You're braver than I thought. Lily's knees wobbled, but she stood taller. Mr. Musk, why are you doing this? The kitchen, Mr. Henry's treatments, the school. Why help us after what Marcus did? Elon's eyes softened, but they carried a weight that made her chest ache. He stepped aside, revealing a small office cluttered with papers and a single laptop. On the wall was a faded photo of a boy, maybe 10 years old, standing in front of the Grand Star Hotel, his face thin and hopeful. "Come in," he said. "I owe you the truth." Lily's heart pounded as she stepped inside, her eyes locked on the photo. The boy looked familiar, like a younger version of the man before her. Elon sat at the desk, his hands folding together like he was steadying himself. "That's me," he said, nodding at the photo. 20 years ago, I lived in the apartments across from your hotel. My mom and we didn't have much. She worked nights cleaning offices, but we were always one paycheck from losing everything." Lily's throat tightened. She could almost see her own life in his words, her and Ben scraping by, hoping for a break. "What happened?" she whispered. Elon's voice grew quieter, like he was pulling the words from a deep, painful place. "One night, my mom heard the Grand Star was hiring. She brought me with her, thinking I could bus tables, wash dishes, anything to help. I was 10, skinny, wearing shoes with holes. The manager, Mr. Klein, laughed in our faces. 'This isn't a place for people like you,' he said. He told us to get out, like we were dirt on his floor." Lily's eyes burned with tears. She saw that moment in her mind, a small boy, clutching his mom's hand, humiliated in the same lobby where she worked. "That's why you looked at the help wanted sign," she said, her voice breaking. "It brought you back to that night." Elon nodded, his eyes distant. "It did. But it wasn't just pain. That rejection lit a fire in me. It made me dream bigger, work harder, promise myself I'd never let anyone feel that small again. When Marcus turned me away last week, I didn't see him. I saw Mr. Klein, and I knew I had a choice, anger or kindness." Lily's hands shook as the truth hit her. Golden Star Solutions wasn't a company. It was Elon, giving back to the neighborhood that broke him, healing an old wound with every gift. Her chest swelled with awe, but also anger, not at him, but at herself. "I saw you that night," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I knew who you were, and I didn't say anything. I was too scared of losing my job. I let you down." Elon leaned forward, his gaze steady. "You didn't let me down. Lily, you're here now, risking everything to find the truth. That's courage." His words were warm, but they didn't erase the guilt clawing at her heart. She'd stayed silent, just like she had 100 times before, afraid to rock the boat. But then she thought of Ben, his bright eyes when he talked about science, and Mrs. Torres, cooking with joy in her new kitchen. She thought of Mr. Henry, walking without pain, and the kids at Lincoln School, reading new books. Elon's kindness wasn't just about him. It was about all of them, and she could be part of it. Lily wiped her eyes, her voice steadying. "I want to help you," she said. "Not just the hotel, but the neighborhood. I want to make things right. For you, for everyone Marcus hurt, for the kid I was too scared to stand up for." Elon's smile was small but real, like a sunrise, breaking through clouds. "Then let's do it together, but it starts with you telling Marcus the truth. He needs to know who's behind this, and why." Lily's heart raced, fear and determination crashing together. Telling Marcus meant risking her job, her future, everything she'd fought for. But staying silent meant betraying the spark she felt now, the belief that she could be more than a scared girl at a front desk. She nodded, her jaw tight. "I'll do it. Tomorrow I'll tell him everything." As she left the office, the glowing window behind her felt like a promise. The truth was out, but the real fight was just beginning. Tomorrow she'd face Marcus, confront his pride, and demand change. But what would happen when the man who judged Elon faced the weight of his own mistakes? The Grand Star Hotel's lobby shimmered under the morning sun, its crystal chandeliers casting rainbows on the marble floor. But for Lily Carter, the air felt thick with a storm about to break. Her heart pounded like a drum as she stood behind the front desk, clutching the Golden Star Solutions invoices. Today, she'd face Marcus Reed, her boss, and tell him the truth. Elon Musk, the man he'd humiliated, was behind the hotel's transformation. If she failed, she could lose her job, her brother Ben's future, everything she'd fought for. But staying silent wasn't an option anymore. The weight of that rainy night, when she'd let Elon walk away, pressed on her chest like a stone. This was her chance to make it right, or lose everything. Marcus strode in, his suit crisp, but his eyes wild, like a man cornered. "Lily, any more deliveries?" he barked, his voice sharp enough to cut glass. The lobby was quiet, guests sipping coffee in the golden chairs, unaware of the battle brewing. Mrs. Elena Torres was in the kitchen, testing her new ovens, and Mr. Henry stood at the door, his arthritis eased by treatments paid for by a mystery company. They all depended on Lily now, even if they didn't know it. She took a deep breath, her hands shaking. "Marcus, we need to talk. In your office, now." His eyes narrowed, but he nodded, leading her to the small office behind the desk. The door clicked shut, trapping them in a space that felt too small for the truth. Lily's throat burned as she set the invoices on his desk. "Golden Star Solutions," she said, her voice trembling but steady. "It's Elon Musk. The man you turned away that night. He's the one sending the equipment, paying for Mr. Henry's treatments, helping the school, all of it." Marcus's face went pale, his hands gripping the desk like it was the only thing holding him up. "That's impossible," he whispered, but his voice cracked. "Why would he, after what I did?" Lily's heart raced, her words spilling out like water breaking a dam. "Because he grew up here, Marcus, in the apartments across the street. When he was a kid, another manager laughed at him and his mom, told them they didn't belong. That night you sent him away, it brought it all back. But instead of revenge, he chose to help us, to heal this place." Marcus sank into his chair, his perfect posture crumbling. His eyes darted to the invoices, then to the floor, like he couldn't face her. "I didn't know," he said, his voice barely audible. "I thought he was just nobody." Then his face twisted, anger flaring. "Why didn't you tell me that night, Lily? You knew who he was. You let me make a fool of myself." The accusation hit like a slap. Lily's chest tightened, guilt and anger crashing together. "I was scared," she shouted, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Scared I'd lose my job, scared I couldn't help Ben. But I'm done being scared, Marcus. You judged him by his clothes, just like that manager did years ago. And now we're all paying for it." The room fell silent, the air heavy with their words. Marcus's hands shook as he stared at the invoices, the numbers proof of Elon's kindness. $20,000, $10,000, $5,000. His eyes filled with tears, something Lily had never seen. "I've ruined everything," he whispered. "The hotel, my reputation. What does he want from me?" Lily's voice softened, but her resolve didn't waver. "He doesn't want anything, Marcus. He's giving us a chance to be better. But you have to decide. Will you keep judging people? Or will you change?" Marcus looked up, his face raw with shame. For a moment, Lily thought he might fire her, shut her out, cling to his pride. But then the office door swung open and there stood Elon Musk, his navy suit sharp but his eyes gentle, like they held 1,000 stories. The lobby behind him was frozen, Mrs. Torres, Mr. Henry, even the guests staring in stunned silence. "Mr. Reed," Elon said, his voice calm but firm, cutting through the tension like a blade. "Lily's right. This isn't about revenge. It's about second chances. Marcus stood, his legs unsteady, his face a mix of fear and regret. "Mr. Musk, I was wrong. I treated you terribly. I don't know how to fix it." His voice broke, tears streaming down his cheeks. "Please, tell me what you want." Elon stepped closer, his gaze steady. "I want you to make this hotel a place where everyone feels welcome, rich or poor, dressed up or soaked in rain. I want you to give people the chance I never got as a kid." He paused, his eyes flicking to Lily, a spark of pride in them. "And I want you to listen to people like Lily, who see the world with kindness, not judgment." Lily's heart swelled, her tears mixing with a fierce determination. She'd faced her fear, spoken the truth, and now she stood at the edge of something bigger. Marcus wiped his eyes, his voice hoarse. "I don't deserve your forgiveness," he said, "but I'll try. I'll make this place different, I swear it." Elon nodded, a small smile breaking through. "That's all I ask." He turned to Lily, his voice softer. "And you, Lily? What do you want this hotel to be?" Lily's breath caught. The weight of the moment hit her, the chance to shape, something meaningful, to give Ben and kids like him a future. "I want it to be a home," she said, her voice strong despite the tears. "A place where people like my brother can dream big, where no one's turned away." The lobby erupted in soft gasps and murmurs, guests and staff drawn into the moment. Mrs. Torres clapped, her eyes shining. Mr. Henry leaned on his cane, smiling through tears. Marcus stepped forward, his hand extended to Elon. "Let's do it," he said. Together. As their hands clasped, Lily felt the air shift, like a storm had finally passed. The Grand Star Hotel wasn't just marble and gold anymore, it was alive with possibility. She'd faced her fear, confronted her boss, and won. But as Elon's eyes met hers, she saw a flicker of something new, a promise of more to come. The battle was over, but the real work was just beginning.